The experience cube is a model that explains very well what or how we should communicate, and especially when giving feedback. It was created by Gervais Bush, who wrote the book Clear Leadership, and we will have a look at that model. It starts with an observation about what actually happened. Say, for instance, I tell you, when you interrupted me in the management team last Friday, that's clear, you did that. It is a fact. So it was an observation. It can't be discussed. You remember and I remember. Questions to be asked is, what happened? What did you do? What did I do? How did it all evolve? And when you have described what actually happened, then you move to the next square, which is thoughts, which are your hypothesis, your reflections, why it happened, and your conclusions. It happened because, and for instance, I can say, when you interrupted me in the management meeting, that was the observation. I think you didn't really respect my opinion. That is my hypothesis. That, of course, can be discussed. But it is how I see it. And when I share it with you, it's a little bit easier for you to understand my reactions. And my reactions comes in the next square. That's what we call feeling. And the feeling is what it makes me feel. Sad, mad, glad, bad. I feel when you interrupted me and I think you don't respect my opinions, I feel disengaged and a little bit sad. And it makes me not probably participate that much in meetings in the future, because I will be a little bit skeptic to share my opinions. So this is what it does to me. This is the effect it has. And my feelings is something that I own. It's mine. And it can't be discussed. It's how it is. But it's based on the thoughts, on the conclusions, on the hypothesis why what happened actually happened. And based on that, we can move to the next square, which is the will. That means I wish you could do it differently. I wish that next time when I speak up in the management meeting, you will hear me out, because then I will think that you respect my opinions. And when I share this with you, it's easier for you to understand than if I didn't tell you why I want something to be different. It's because what happened, based on my thoughts why it happened, and my feelings that were evoked based on my thoughts, that creates the need for doing something differently. And I can actually be more coaching as well and ask you, what do you think you could do differently so that this doesn't happen to me? Now, normally when you give feedback to someone, you do it because you are emotional. That's when you feel the need to say something. When you get very sad or bad or mad, maybe even glad, because this can come with confirming feedback as well. And then usually we speak very general out of that feeling square. So we say, you never respect me. And if that's the case, my colleague would have a hard time understanding that. So you understand, when you give feedback based on your feelings, it's not so transparent, and it makes it very hard for the other person to understand your position. That is why the experience cube is such a good model when giving feedback, because when you start out with something that everybody agrees on, which cannot be discussed, and you share your thoughts about why you think it happened, it's much easier for your colleague to understand. and then you share your feelings as well, and that makes your colleague understand what he does to you. And then maybe he would also like to change that so it doesn't happen again, if he agrees that that was unfortunate. So this is how to use the experience cube.